Okay, ladies and gentlemen, how's it going, everybody? This is the Jeffrey Melton live stream about the big picture. And Project Veritas has done it again, guys. Caught the CIA red handed, keeping information from during the Trump administration, keeping information from Trump. These people have committed treason. There's no doubt about it. I'm so tired of people pretending that there's no treason anymore. In fact, I believe that a lot of the Biden administration has committed treason. Um, I've heard and I've been trying to verify that some of his cabinet members and some of his administration outside the cabinet didn't even do the oath, didn't even swear to the oath to protect the Constitution. I don't know what's going on with that. It's blowing my mind, but that's what I heard, and I'm trying to verify it. If anyone knows, it'd be great. Let me know, and where you got the information from. It's like you can't find anything on Google anymore that goes against the Democrats. It's it's crazy. They're going to try to hide or just change the information that's out there, like and presenting it as truth when we know it's not the truth. um Also, I am super frustrated about some of the Jan 6 prisoners. uh like, there's still at least one that I heard of recently that it hasn't even had a trial. He's just been charged. He's been in that jail for 1,200 days, ladies and gentlemen. That's 3 years. I 4 years. I don't. If that was anybody else, a Democrat, or especially a marginalized, or you know, a minority, oh my God, the whole country would be in an uproar, and Democrats would not shut up in on Capitol Hill. And now I'll give Marjorie Taylor Greene and uh, Byron Donalds and the senator that went with Marjorie to the jail to check on the January 6th prisoners. And I also have sympathy for them because they have so much to try to defend constantly, that, like, this Jake, I don't want to butcher his last name. I've already forgot it. Let me see if I can find it right here. His name is Jake, though, and he's been there for over 1,200 days. And his dad is protesting for him and stuff. But we've got to step it up for these people, man. That's too long. That's too long. What? And they're charging him with assault with a deadly weapon or something to that nature. It's different because it happened to the Capitol Police, but it's that charge in that area, and it's because he had a shield. Now, I have seen shields all over these protests in the at the college campuses, all these Palestine protests, and I bet you none of them get charged with a deadly weapon, because a shield's not a deadly weapon in its name. By itself, it's not a deadly weapon, it's a defender. But he's totally getting railroaded just because he supports President Trump, and that's political persecution. I mean, there's no other way to put it. If this was any other charge, if this was still him with any other charge, it would have done been dealt with. But they are trying to force him to become an evil democrat. And I say democrat every time I reference them because they are demons. You telling me Nancy Pelosi's not a demon? It's blowing my mind how they got us all trying to protect our way of life because we're having to work harder to make $8,000 more dollars a year just to survive, just to pay the same bills that we paid last year or the year before. And they got us all doing that where we're not worried or confronting some of the issues of the way they're treating us or in the way they're making it hard for us to live. And especially for the people like the January 6th prisoners, they're keeping us from being able, they're keeping the politicians from being able to confront it by throwing so many ridiculous issues out there and overrunning the border and just committing treason. Joe Biden is committing treason. I don't know any other way to put it. And sedition. He's done both. Um anyway, I'm trying to find the guy's name. Because I want to bring awareness to his name and all the others if there's more that haven't been already done with their trial and doing their time to get it over with. God, there's so many of them. I'll find it later. I should have been more prepared. I try to think of all these things and write them down, and I just get overwhelmed. Like I said, and trying to remember to address all these things while I'm on here, but then like I forget to write the name down. But just like the border, Mayorkas, they're pretending like they can interpret the laws of the land the way they want to, even though it's unprecedented. Like, I don't understand why more Republicans aren't putting that out there. I think sometimes they assume that we're thinking about it, but we're not politicians as the public. You know, we're just like regular working people, so we're not thinking like they're thinking. So Republicans got to work a little bit harder of showing their perception of what the Democrats are doing with trying to change the way we think about our own constitution. It's he thinks that he can parole all these people and make a pathway for them while they're already here. And he knows dang good and well that these people are, they're not, their culture's not like ours. So they don't respect and love all of the same things that we do. And so it will come to clash with Americans, and it's going to cause exactly what we've been saying it's going to cause. It's going to cause chaos because Americans are not going to be used to the way these people act, and our cops are not going to be used to the way, our courts are not going to be used to the way. And not that it's wrong in their country, most of it is, but some of the things that they do that's okay in their country is not okay here, like letting their dogs run, or um, letting just stuff like that, and like farming in the middle of the city and stuff. Like, they don't see no problem with that because they can where they're from. And so you have chickens pooping, in the city, and they're like, we need to accept all that, but that's not how we live here. They need to assimilate to ours. Everybody acts like assimilation is such a bad thing. What? Anywhere you go in the world, they're going to expect you to assimilate to their way of living, with exceptions. In fact, we're the best country at accommodating other cultures, other religions, with their freedom to do whatever the heck they want. I mean, as far as their religion goes, and most of the time their culture, just as long as they are doing it with their family, and not trying to force it on us as Americans. I don't understand what's so hard to understand about that. Um, and a lot of times I have some topics on here that I want to go through, but when I write them down, I have to rethink how I say them because of YouTube and their guidelines. um, Transgenders. I need the ones that truly are claiming to be fighting for transgender rights or whatever. I don't know what rights y'all don't have, but I need y'all to understand that we are not cool. Y'all expect us to understand everything. Well, why can't you understand that we're not cool with the kids being around it, being approached with it? And look, you can say that's not, that they're not trying to groom them or whatever, but the truth is a lot of them are. And they target the low self-esteem kids that don't have it athletically, or the whatever. They're not popular for whatever reason it may be. They're not popular, so they target them kids, and then either get them on that side, or uh, actually tell them they're in the wrong body, and then pretend like their parents are the enemy, and actually turn their kid against the parents. That is too far. That's grooming. That is, if it's not grooming, then why don't you try to approach the linebacker like that? Why don't you approach him and tell him he's in the wrong body? um, when you put these ideas out there, the linebacker doesn't fall for it because he's confident in himself. When I was a kid, my teachers tried to, the kids that were less fortunate and the kids that didn't have a good self-esteem, a lot of my teachers tried to build their self-esteem. In fact, it was a big thing when I was young to for grown-ups and kids that felt empathy, because there's a lot of them that do, and most of them is what I've scene are Christian athletes, and they show the empathy to these kids and try to build their self-esteem. And um, I seen a lot of that. I was in the FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and we always try to do that. Um, that's the route we need to be taking. And if there's still uh, anybody out there can see that, and I don't understand why y'all can't understand that's how we feel. And the kids are too young to be sexualized. You're falling into a trap that some people have set for your kids. Don't I don't care if you're secular or not. I don't care if you believe in God or not. It's still the right way. I mean, you can argue there's no objective truth, but there is. And every time that Charlie Kirk or any of them guys try to get down to the objective truth, why are the ones that they're debating are always the ones that try to run from it and try to pretend like that it's not there, even when Charlie gets them down to the basics, to the big picture, and they some of them admit it, but not most of them. Oh yeah, the Christine Nome thing. I just think she put it out there wrong. If you listen to her explain it, and this is more than likely the truth, it's not like that. She doesn't seem to be an evil animal hater. And if you work on a farm, and I personally, I think it could have been trained out of the dog. A lot of farmers don't have the time to be training a dog that's way harder to train, that's not going to give, has a really hard head. And some of them, let me say this, some of them may not be able to be trained out of it because they're just too aggressive. And even whenever they are disciplined to the point where they're not aggressive anymore, they can be turned on to be aggressive again. And farming has a lot of circumstances that you can't control. These animals are huge, and there's a lot of times when you're not out there to control anything. It's just in the wilderness. These farmers have land plots that they build fences around, and their livestock stays in these fences, but their house that they live at is miles away. So they have to depend on their dogs to take care of these areas. And just things can happen, and then you get out there the next day and you have 5 or 6 dead animals. Or if it's a big animal, then you may just have a really gashed up animal, and the dog be hurt and cost you a lot of money. So there's a lot of things that people that don't farm are not thinking about. And there's a lot of farmers, I'm sure, that may have done it differently, and just like took the dog to a whisperer or something, or to. But if the dog's aggressive, then some of these people, like the Asher guy out in Oregon, even I don't even think he could have had this dog, because because he has a lot of dogs. And if there's one that's more aggressive, like aggressive to the point of every time it sees another animal, it wants to grab it and play hard enough with it to hurt it. So I just wanted to say that. I don't think she's an evil person, and I don't think that she hates animals. And I kind of covered this in the last live stream, but I've only done two, so it's not like that either one of them's probably been seen much. But Mike Johnson, he said that it would be on the Republicans if he didn't get some kind of deal done with the border with Ukraine and Israel funding. I disagree, man. I think all the Republican voters out there, they know. They know now that even if it hurt, it has to be done. The border has to be closed, and you have the leverage, even if it's just one vote. You have the leverage to do it. And you could have done it. We got to get these rhinos out of our system. People got to make a choice. If you're voting, if you're letting abortion be your ultimate decider on voting for the president, especially now that you see before, I think I believe that President Trump won. So, but I say that to say this. If abortion was your deciding factor in 2020, I don't think it will be this time. But if it is, you probably need to think about other people and look around you, because if that's your deciding factor, then you're probably wealthy enough to where you don't have to worry about nothing. But there's a lot of us out here that do. Now, let me address why I think when you put the numbers up there of the people that were felons and the people that were under the age of 18 in 2020, and then you add up the number of people who voted, there were states that ended up, we don't know which states they were, because of, to get all this information, I don't know if anybody's thought about it or what. I haven't gotten it yet because I have to pay for it every time I get it. But if you add up the number of people who voted, the felons, and the kids that couldn't vote, then there were states that had 100% voting, which we know is bullshit. That's crap. Not counting all the people that said their relatives voted that hasn't voted in the last 3 elections because they've had dementia for the last 20 years. And then all of a sudden in 2020 they vote. There's all kinds of things. I just 2,000 mules. There people used to argue with me on Twitter and say that Dinesh done it for money and True the Vote done it for money. What are you talking about? They put money out there to make that movie. So they had to ask for some money back to try to get their money back for making the movie. And the people were arguing about the radius, the 100-foot radius. That's not very big. That's not very big at all. So if you're going through that 100-foot radius multiple times, and then going through the other 100-foot radiuses multiple times, the coincidences are just crazy. In fact, Democrats count on coincidences. They count on you tools believing in coincidences, and it just they're like taking all these issues and throwing them out there, pretending like they care about them, and using the LGBTQ and other people, minorities, and then the day after they get elected, they stop. They don't even think about you again for 3 years and 355 days. So I'm just saying, I hope that we're not fooled anymore by one issue. Whenever, just look around you, it's getting crazy. Yeah, and the border, Mayorkas, they are trying to force socialism on us. Everything they're doing is a step toward making you feel unsafe and angry so they can be your savior. You think that he don't know that he's let terrorists in this country? I I beg to differ. He knows exactly what he was doing, and he's like saying that he's uh checked these people out, but he's checking out the name that they give when they get here. Their IDs are down on in the river. So they're giving him a name, he's checking it, and he's saying, well, there's nothing on the terrorist watch list, so let him go. And I have had, there's the guy on the video saying that we're going to know soon who he is. And I've had people on Twitter, no, I'm not going to say for sure that they were Muslim or whatnot, but that's what they claim to be. And they told me that it soon, our whole way of life is going to be changed. And he was replying to a comment that I made about our country being strong and not being easy to take over. He was responding to that, and he said that our whole way of life is fixing to change. But I'm just a nobody. He could have just be like a high-strung liberal white boy trying to make me feel unsafe. But with all those things going on, it's not coincidences, guys. Christopher Wray, he's done admitted it. He said that it's going to happen. And Christopher Wray's, I think he's committed treason too, because they are all setting this up. The FBI setting it up with the DOJ. They're going to let it happen. And then they're going to say, oh my God, see, look, we need all this funding and we need you to give up your rights and let us spy on you and take your guns. And we need you to let us do this stuff because you're unsafe. You see? And if you can't see that, I don't know what to tell you. You know, all the very same people that used to cry and whine and say the government's crooked and all this are the very same people calling for more government. What the hell? What the hell? Like, and the same people calling for universal insurance are the same people that knows what government insurance is like. Wake up, people. Anyway, I hope y'all have a good rest of your few days until I have another. Check out my shorts. Some of them don't even have any views or anything, but I got like 900 on between a couple of them. So, anyway, y'all have a good day, and I'll see you next time.